So today I've got Genesis Miranda Longo. She's the head of customer and industry marketing at Shopify. She works with enterprise brands to build e-commerce strategies and push the boundaries of modern retail. On a personal level, she was born in Mexico, went to college, and was the first woman in her family to attend college and graduated with honors from Cornell University. On the show today, we talk about industry and customer marketing, what it is, how to do it, telling your customer stories and what their needs are, and how to scale those efforts beyond what you can do just one-to-one. That and much more with Genesis Miranda Longo. Are you ready to go beyond the basics of marketing? I'm Alan Hart, and this is Marketing Beyond, where I chat with the world's leading chief marketing officers and business innovators to share ideas that spark change and inspire you to challenge the status quo. Join us as we explore the future of marketing and its endless potential. Oh, Genesis, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Alan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to know you a little bit better. And before we get talking about career and business, you grew up in Mexico.
I did, yes.
And my understanding is like the area you grew up was not necessarily the safest area to grow up. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so I grew up in Sinaloa. I was born and raised in Sinaloa, and Sinaloa is known for its narco culture. And so, needless to say, right, it's not the easiest place to grow up, but it does make you grow up really quickly. And I wouldn't have changed anything about my upbringing. I think it's what made me the resilient, confident, wayfinding person that I am. It's really shaped everything about me, and it has gotten me to where I am today.
It's not great, I guess, of the situation, but great that it's turned into a positive
Absolutely.
aspect of who you are and
Yeah.
how you show up in the world.
Thank you.
Well, so you are the head of industry and customer marketing at Shopify. Where did you get your professional start and like how'd you end up at Shopify?
Yeah. So after Sinaloa, I ended up coming to the United States. By God's grace, ended up at Cornell University. And there I was very focused on the brand side. So I loved brands. I was in a food marketing fellowship, getting to work with some of the world's top brands. And through that journey, I said, I want to do that. I want to be on the marketing side for these cool brands. But my mom ended up having cancer throughout my time at Cornell. I had two little brothers, one in elementary school and one in middle school.
Oh, wow.
And I needed to be their caregiver. And so I realized the best, most flexible industry I could go to was tech, because back then we couldn't work from home as easily. And in tech, I was at least a little bit more flexible. So I joined a company called Pros. They're a public company. I was on their finance side. And that gave me an early education on everything to do with SaaS, how SaaS works, how we grow, what investors look for, what product marketing is, what customer success is, just like a full basis understanding. Later went over to TalkDesk to lead industry marketing during the pandemic, which was when contact center as a service was booming. And then that led me to Shopify, that's where I am now.
You still work sort of remote, I think, right?
Fully remote, but traveling a lot.
A lot. Yeah. Yeah. And we're here at Shop Talk.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
So many trips to Vegas.
Tell me about industry and customer marketing at Shopify. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, it's really two things. One is getting new customers on Shopify and helping them discover Shopify, but also meeting them wherever they are, whether that's a place like Shop Talk or a smaller trade show or simply online. And then the other one is helping our existing customers grow and be seen, telling their stories and helping others see their growth and see what it is to partner with Shopify and achieve that.
So customer stories.
Yeah.
We're kind of doing one of those
We
now.
are. Usually I'm on the other side.
Yeah. So you're a little comfortable with me asking you the questions?
Yeah. If we have time, I'm going to shoot it back at you.
Tell me a little bit about like what telling their stories looks like and ultimately like how does that help you and them in a kind of symbiotic way?
Yeah. I see customer stories not as content, but as connection. My favorite thing to do is do this, sit down with a customer on Shopify and hear their stories, hear whether how they founded the company or how they're scaling the company on Shopify. And then that helps me build a personal relationship with them so I can consider them for other opportunities for their own growth as well. And then the other side of that is telling their stories to the world, because there's a lot of companies maybe considering Shopify that want to see themselves in the stories that we're telling the world. And so that gives our customers a chance to connect with other brands, but also to not feel maybe as lonely, because entrepreneurship or scaling these massive brands can be very lonely.
Yeah. What does it help you achieve as Shopify? Like getting your customer's voice out there?
Well, full transparency, right? My role is about revenue
Right.
generation.
Yeah.
And so I use a lot of these stories, not just for the connections for myself, but to also connect our prospects to those customers so that they can feel maybe more confident or see other companies like them have already gone through the migration journey and see the success that they're having on the platform. And it's also really cool for sales to be able to have these stories so that they can go out into the field and go make some more revenue for Shopify.
How do you think about scaling? Because if you think about it, it's a one-to-one medium
Yeah.
at the initial start of it, right?
Yeah.
And then how do you think about scaling your efforts?
Well, I'm optimizing for connection. So I want to automate and use AI to build systems around everything else that is not me talking to the customer so that I can spend my time doing what I love, which is this. And so I have built really great systems to identify customers that we should be writing stories for or telling stories of, and then having AI agents do the research for me so that I can just simply focus on getting on the meeting, already knowing what I'm asking, what they're about, all of those things that normally would have taken me hours. I can now automate that so that I can spend more time having more and more of the conversations, and then quickly getting those stories out instead of them waiting 2, 3 months to see their story on the internet.
Where has been the biggest learning for you as somebody that does the interviewing and is doing the content creation? Like, what is there one element that you're like, this one really opened my eyes to
Yeah.
something different?
I think I've learned that I can automate everything except for this. This is truly the most important part. And having myself be on all of these calls and getting to know them personally, that's where the real magic is. Because even when I'm automating the rest of the process, the research, the writing, like everything else, I can go back and look at it with my eyes, having been in the conversation. Then I can gather all of those insights of doing these at scale and then truly be able to see, okay, these are the trends that I'm seeing among all these conversations, which allows me to then put them together and create content for other brands saying, here's what I've learned from
Right.
these 10 conversations with the fastest growing CPG brands. And so being able to do them at scale gives me better insights, but you can't automate this.
Yeah, yeah. You still have to have the human in the loop.
You do, yeah. And for editing too.
Right. Well, what does the performance engine look like? Like when you get this going, like what is it? What does it look like? How the results look?
One is getting the content created, the connection made, and then putting the story out there. But then that story won't go very far if the people internally at Shopify aren't aware that that story is there. Because eventually, with the scale, we have so many stories. And how do you surface the right story for the right prospect or the right customer? And so I've made an agent. Her name is Matchie, and she's on fire. And Matchie lives in a Slack channel for our Shopify folk. And so if you're a salesperson or if you're a solutions engineer or customer success manager or anyone else, you can go on there and ask Matchie who is a customer like XYZ, and Matchie will serve you up some results, and then she'll also tell you if there's already a customer story on them. And she'll also help facilitate the conversation if you say, hey, this person wants to meet one-to-one, which is what I think you're going to ask about Shopify Champions next.
I am. But before I do that, I want to stick with Matchy for a second. Like,
Yeah.
how hard was it to organize your stories and your library of content to make Matchy go?
Matchie is pulling lookalike customers from our data warehouse. So that's the full library. However, for case studies, it's simply pulling from our shopify.com/case studies or even from our partner case studies. Shopify has a huge ecosystem of partners and they all have a lot of stories. And so we can surface those up too. So if I get it uploaded online, then Matchie can simply pull and help navigate all of those. It's like sales could technically go in there and find the right story. But Matchy just makes it so much more automated and can also give them more context than maybe they wouldn't have found online.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's definitely talk about Shopify Champions.
Yeah.
What is that program?
So I built Matchy as the front end, but then on the back end, you need the pool of references to be sourcing from. And so Shopify Champions is just an opt-in community of customers who say, we want to be a part of anything Shopify. We want to be on a panel. We want to speak. We want just consider us, right? They're people that are really excited to be voice and spokespeople for Shopify. And so I've created that community. I just started it. So recruiting more and more customers, but it helps me and Matchy identify who the right people are to connect to prospects or again, to events like this, like speaking at Shop Talk.
Then the value exchange is you get referenceable folks in the community that's already like using and ambassadors, if you will, of Shopify. But for them, they're getting opportunities to speak, opportunities to create content with you, and Is that the best way to describe?
Absolutely. And also the connections. Like I said, entrepreneurship and scaling brands is lonely, and these companies want to be able to connect with others. They want those peer to peer conversations. And so they're welcoming the opportunity to be connected through us and Matchie as the matchmaker.
Well, before I transition gears, as a marketer, looking back on all of the things, great work that you're doing, like what are some tips that you would give other marketers that want to do some of what you're doing today?
I think just tinkering, playing with AI. I am fortunate to be at Shopify where that is not only suggested, but it's part of our performance reviews to use AI and to use AI well and effectively. Um, we had a memo from our CEO go out saying Shopify employees all have to use AI, and that has since grown. Right, I didn't know what Cursor was a year or 2 years ago, and then I became a Cursor probably one of the most marketing users. I don't know how to say that. And then after that, they were like, let's use Pi, let's use Ghosty, let's use all these other tools. And so it keeps me on my toes to see myself not just as a marketer, but as a program manager and to think, what are the toils that I go through and what can I automate and use AI for to make me better at my own job, which is that connecting with customers
Yeah.
and doing more IRL things.
I'm picturing you doing marketing and then vibe coding on
I
the
am
side.
all the time. You should. We took a little road trip to Houston this weekend, and so I'm on my computer, and my husband's like glances over, and he's like, "Who are you?" You just see like me typing in my terminal, coding away. But that's what I've become in a way at Shopify. I'm a marketer who automates and builds my own tools so
Right.
that I can be a better marketer.
That's funny. My wife is making fun of me too because
Yeah.
I've nicknamed my personal LLM that I go to all the time. It has a nickname, and she's like, are you talking to your friend again?" And I'm like, Yes." She's like, "Don't become one of those people, Alan." And I'm like, "Okay, all right,
Oh
but
yeah, I
yeah,
probably talk to my agents more than my husband at this point, but don't tell him that.
no, I won't." Although we just did. But anyway, well, one of the things I love to do is to get to know the people that come on the show a little bit better. My favorite question to ask everyone is, has there been an experience of your past that makes up who you are today?
We touched on it a little bit, but my upbringing in Sinaloa was definitely very instrumental in my life. I learned how to navigate uncertainty, to say the least. And even when I came into the United States and went to school and navigated education, immigration, I would have to go back to Mexico every single summer, not knowing if I would get to come back into this country. And that uncertainty of just saying, how can I maximize my year because this may be my last year here? That builds grit.
Yes.
It builds resilience. So I would say that. And also knowing what it is to have community that supports you and believes in you no matter where you come from. And now I'm grateful to get to do that with others and to open up my home to people that may be going through similar situations.
Well, if you were looking back and giving your younger self advice, what advice would you give them?
I would tell little Hennessy's to not wait to be given permission to just go do it or to not be asked to do something, but to just go do it. And I think connecting that to what we talked about in marketing, I didn't wait for someone to tell me to go build a tool.
Right.
I just built it because I had the resources to now. And if I didn't have the resources, then I can go find them and learn. I think not waiting for you to be ready is key. And I've just employed that in a lot of areas of my life, like adopting a teenager, even if I was not ready to be a mom, or buying a house, even if I maybe wasn't ready for that either.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, what's one topic that you're trying to learn more about right now?
I'm really interested in using and how people are using AI, not just for automation and efficiencies, but for decision making and how they're using AI to gather more context to make smarter decisions. So I've been really interested in seeing how people are doing that across contexts, whether it's shopping and using AI to give you more context on how to make the right purchase, or in marketing, like before I would need to go to data analysts, and now I can kind of figure things out on my own. So that's been a really interesting shift in roles and responsibilities. So I'm interested in learning more there.
I'm earlier in my journey than you are, but you start to use it to research and
Yeah.
learn information. And then you do kind of like at some point, there's like a tipping point where you go, just go figure this out for
Yeah.
me and tell me what the answer is. I haven't gotten yet to the point where they actually go do it yet,
Yeah.
but I imagine that's coming.
I've been having my AI agent in Pi send Slack messages for me, but I do tell it at the bottom. I'm like, make sure you say it's my Slack handle is Glow, G Longo. So it's like at Glow's Pie and a little robot.
Ah.
It's like, this message was sent from Glow's Pie.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Most marketers, and I'm assuming you are, because we've already been talking about all these things that you're learning and looking at. Most marketers tend to be very curious people. And I always am curious what you're curious about in the world.
Oh my gosh, I'm curious about so many things. Parenting a teenager is something I'm very curious about. Farsi is another one, just because he speaks Farsi. He's from Iran. But professionally, I'm really curious right now on how new communities are being created, niche communities. People are they're craving these people-to-people interactions. They're craving communities where they can learn and find a sense of belonging. And so as a marketer too, it's how do I create those communities and those IRL experiences while also automating everything else on the back end. So I'm really curious to see how IRL things, even like how Shop Talk will evolve, because people are craving these types of opportunities to meet others.
I'm sure you're finding this as you're thinking about it, but it's hard to automate the in-person part
Yeah.
because people are messy, like
Yep.
just inherently. But I agree, like we all are craving that human connection.
And it's also like, what does a dinner turn into? A work dinner.
That's
People
right.
used to just show up at a work dinner and just sit there and have conversations with the people on their left and their right. That's not how we should be doing dinners. We can be so creative now. I had an event a couple months back where I got stickers made. This is like when ChatGPT first started doing image generation. This was last year. And I made everyone a sticker of their pet.
Oh, wow.
And when we got to the event, I gave all of these. It was a Bark was our customer we were showcasing. So pet was the theme. But I gave everyone these stickers of pets. I'm like, these pets are lost. Find their owner. And that was how I got everyone to mingle and get to know each other instead of just throwing everyone into a room and having them. I don't know, what did we used to do before? And so I'm going back to your curiosity question. It's how do we use AI to augment these experiences? Like I used AI to generate a bunch of stickers of people's pets, but those experiences are now what are enabling the human connection. And so I think we can continue to explore more and more of those use cases.
I really love that example. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, 2 more questions for you. What do you think is the largest opportunity or potential threat facing marketers going forward?
Well, we've talked about the opportunity. I like to say that before AI, I was a wayfinder. If I needed something, I would go find the people to help me do it. But now I'm a waymaker. I don't have to wait for people like on the data org or in the engineering org to help me. I can figure it out myself with the tools. And so I would tell marketers to change that mentality and to maybe stop feeling like you are blocked and just tinker and try to figure it out. And then when you get somewhere, launch the MVP, start getting people to use your tool. Like Matchie I launched it a couple weeks ago and it already has over 500 requests going through Matchie across the revenue organization at Shopify. And so now if I do need resources, I can say, hey, engineering team, I need your help to make this even better because look at all the usage instead of waiting for them and making the case of we should build this tool together.
One more question. If you can say, like, what's one way agentic AI will fundamentally change how we shop in the next year?
It already has. Like, can that be my sentence?
Yeah.
At Shopify, we're seeing AI-driven traffic increase 8x in 2025 and 15x for AI-driven sales. And even with our recent Shopify announcements, with our partnerships with ChatGPT and Microsoft, we're just going to continue seeing more and more of that traction.
I love it. Well, Genesis, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Alan.
Yeah.
This was fun. Next time, though, I have to interview you.
Okay. Next time.
Thanks for having
Awesome.
me.
Hi, it's Alan again. Marketing Beyond is a Deloitte digital podcast. It's created and hosted by me, Alan Hart, and produced by Sam Robertson. We have even more cutting-edge marketing insights headed your way. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with our latest episodes. I love hearing from listeners. Share your thoughts about the episode, the topic covered, or the show by commenting on this video or emailing me at marketingbeyond@deloitte.com. If you're interested in more conversations with industry visionaries, we invite you to explore other Deloitte Digital podcasts at deloittedigital.com/us/podcast. There you'll find the Marketing Beyond webpage with complete show notes and links to what we discussed in the episode today. I'm Alan Hart, and this is Marketing Beyond.